Alright, welcome to the introduction of my rank 4 Hawkeye. This felt very long overdue because I have loved this guy ever since his buff back in December of 2021, and that is a very long time ago, and he is just now going to rank 4. But I've loved this guy like throughout the year. He's always been one of my go-to champs. He's always been one of my favorites, and he is finally at rank 4 now, so I just cannot wait to just do so much content with him. And please excuse my sick voice. I've been recovering from a little bit of a illness, but I'm doing better now, so I thought I'd just make the video and just power through it, you know? So yeah, this is a quick damage test in Realm of Legends. The synergies I'll be using throughout the video are the Nick Fury one, which gives me poison immunity, and the Darkhawk one, which gives 40% increased starting damage over time effects. So yeah, overall, very good synergies for him. I feel like they are both his best synergies overall, but I do need to make a video going over all of his best synergies because he has so many of them, and they honestly make the character. They make the character what he is. But you can see like the damage output now is starting to really ramp up. That's like a 13.3k medium. The bleeds are ticking for a ton as well. He's just a very strong both bleed and, you know, physical damage dealer, right? So yeah, that was about 57 seconds, which is pretty impressive. And now let's jump straight into the Grandmaster's Gauntlet. So we have this Dr. Doom, right? He has the node where if you are not extra large, then only your heavy attacks and intercepts will not glance. And additionally, he's just Dr. Doom, right? He has so much block penetration. There's bubble shield as well. So you're just going to be taking a ton of block damage. And this is not a fight that you would think HAWKEYE can take, right? But he can take it with ease pretty much, right? So how do you stop Dr. Doom? You stop him with slow, right? And HAWKEYE has access to slow in his heavy attack, which is I'll get glanced in this node. Additionally, he has bleed, and bleed is the best way to damage Dr. Doom because of all of his resistances. So yeah, overall, HAWKEYE is just a really good Dr. Doom counter. Of course, the block damage is very annoying, but if you just like intercept, you'll take minimal block damage. So it's a bit of a like harder fight for like HAWKEYE players, but it's definitely doable. Just need to be careful with like the SP1 and all that. Like right here, I think I get hit. Yeah, I get hit right there. But it's no big deal. I just, you know, try to bounce back. But now we have our SP3 active, right? So we're going to try to hit the perfect release. If we do that, then it'll be guaranteed critical bleeds, and it'll just really damage Dr. Doom. So we go for it right here, get the perfect bonus, right? So now what will happen is we're going to do a lot of bleed damage on him, right? And then we can just go from there, and he will start melting right when the SP3 ends. It is a 4.8k critical bleed that's ticking like every half second, right? So additionally, when you hit Dr. Doom, you pause the bleed. So you want to be as aggressive as possible when you have the bleeds up. It'll just maximize your overall damage output, and then you can just go from there. So yeah, just play aggressive, and then just going for intercepts, right? Doing heavy attacks as well. Just watch out for bubble shield too. And overall, this fight isn't that bad with HAWKEYE. Like, it seems impossible at first, right? But then you like understand HAWKEYE's kit and how he works, and he is a very good option for this fight overall, I feel like. So yeah, this fight's not too bad with HAWKEYE. I want to make a video doing like half or like 3/4 of the Gauntlet fights with HAWKEYE. Should be pretty fun. It should be doable. I really trust HAWKEYE in this. You know, he's my go-to champion, and I feel like he is capable of doing a lot of the fights on this whole Gauntlet, right? So yeah, he's almost down. The SP3 bleed has lasted this long so far. We just needed one bleed to take him all the way down. That is so impressive, man. And that's not even the maximum bleed damage of HAWKEYE. It can get so much higher, like so unbelievably high that you will not believe it when you see it. So yeah, that was about like a 220 kill on Gauntlet Dr. Doom, which is very impressive. And now we have Eternity of Pain Hercules. So I subbed out Nick Fury and I put in Tigra. Tigra switches our arrows from bleeds to poisons. So Hercules, he has very strong bleed resistance, but not very strong poison resistance. So the poison arrows will do a ton of damage, right? So we go here for the SP3, and we have the Foresight Fury active. So this should be doing a lot of damage output, and it actually does do quite the bit of damage. You're going to see right here, it is ticking for 6.8 thousand damage, right? And it pauses just as the bleeds do. It's pretty much the same exact thing, except for it is poisons and not bleeds, right? So yeah, he is a very strong poison damage dealer as well. They can be critical, which just lets him do a ton of damage output. And additionally, with Wiccan, he can do ruptures as well. So he is the only champion that can do bleed, poison, and rupture, which is just super impressive, right? He has access to so much damage over time. Do I wish this was in his base kit and on his synergy? Of course. But, you know, I'm not going to complain because Hawkeye's always been like a team builder champ. Like, you build a team around him and he just like performs so well. He's always been one of those type of champions. So it makes sense that it was a synergy, but it would have been nice to be in his base kit. But anyways, I'm not mad. And Hercules is just melting, right? Like, we're doing 10k mediums there. The poison is just really ticking away at this point. And now we can just go for an SP2 here. Get a fragile up as well as 2 more additional crit poisons. And he is just like starting to melt, man. It is just crazy. Like, Hawkeye's damage output is crazy, man, and I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, 4.4k crit poison as well as a 6.8k crit poison. He is melting fast now, and he's immortal now, so he's going to wait that out, and then that'll be the end of this fight. And I want to do a Grief Incarnate Eternity of Pain run with Hawkeye and Warlock. They can take like 12 or 13 out of the bosses, right? And then Kevin Infinity War will take the other 3. It should be a very fun time. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, I'm so excited, man, because Hawkeye is capable of taking a lot of fights in the Eternity Pain, as well as the Gauntlet, right? And now we're going to go back into Act 7. We're going to go back into, like, a bit more of a chill spot, just to go over, like, his vague utility. So Hawkeye has access to slow, a very consistent slow. And this right here is the persistent pressure node, which gives him an unstoppable every couple seconds. Hawkeye just counters it straight up. There's also the Endurance Trial node, which gives 100% damage reduction, reduced by 25% per debuff on the opponent. And Hawkeye has access to a lot of debuffs, so 1 SP2, and it'll just get rid of the node completely, right? So yeah, overall, just Hawkeye doing Hawkeye things, right? He has so much utility, I can't even explain it in like one sentence, man, because it's so much. He has access to so much. And then you put on the synergies as well, and he gets even more utility, man. And it's just absolutely bonkers, right? He is such a versatile character, but people don't really realize how versatile he is, you know? That's what I think anyway, right? Maybe people just don't like him, and that's fine. Doesn't matter if you like him or not. I love the character. I think he is a very capable character, and I think he's very good overall. And that was just a really fast fight, too. So, yeah. Now, a bit of a bonus. I just want to go over some Battlegrounds gameplay. This was taken, like, on Wednesday, the day before, like, Battlegrounds ended. This is the Power Shield Fluxus Personal node. And Hawkeye... he is a bleeder, right? For the most part anyways. And bleeds and Power Shield get, like, massively ramped. Like, they do a lot more damage output. So we can just go for that. Just drop 1 SP2, and then the fight will just be completely over. This is a Black Cat. Nothing too fancy. He does have Evade, but we have Slow, so it doesn't really matter anyway, right? So yeah, we go for 1 SP2. A lot of damage output there. We just need to keep it active, and then she'll just melt away. Just a very fun time with Hawkeye. I love Power Shield. Don't love Fluxus Versal, though. That node really sucks. That was, like, the worst part of the meta, like, 100%. I get a late release there, which is unfortunate, but, you know, Battlegrounds pressure and all that, but we still win the match overall, so that's perfect. Now, here's the roadmap for the Pawn Set Free series. The introduction is today, of course. Then I want to do the maximum damage output of Hawkeye because... oh my gosh, when I showed some of my friends, they were just like dumbfounded by the damage. Then I want to do Eternity Pain Showcase, which is basically going to be the Grief Incarnate run that is featuring Warlock as well. Then I want to do the Gauntlet Showcase, which is going to be him taking as many fights as possible in the Gauntlet. Then I want to do the best teams and synergies because he is a very team-based character. Though he is great by himself, the synergies really make the character who he is. So I want to do like a best teams, best synergies for like certain scenarios. Then I want to do an overall Act 7 and 8 showcase. And then do a final review of the character, just saying like my thoughts on him, why I think he is one of the most underrated characters overall in the entire game, actually. I think he's the #1 most underrated champion, flat out. Like Dr. Octopus, close case, many other characters as well, but he is just the #1 in my opinion. And then I want to do a final conclusion of the series. So yeah, lots to look forward to with Hawkeye and Warlock as well, plus one more champion which I cannot name just yet, but you can already guess with how much I've been like hyping this character up. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Hawkeye, and that's about it for me.